I want you to think about something for a second. How many of your beliefs did you actually choose? And I mean, really choose. Your religion, your politics, your ideas about right and wrong, your ideas about relationships, your ideas about success, your ideas about what kind of people are good people and what kind of people are bad people. How many of those ideas did you sit down one day, examine the evidence for, and compare different possibilities and then come to a conclusion? And how many of them were already sitting there waiting on you because your parents believed them, your church believed them, your friends believed them, your community believed them, the people you respected believed them. So eventually you started saying, I believe this. But here's the question. Did you come to that belief or did you inherit it? Because sometimes we think we're thinking for ourselves when we're really just repeating the conclusions of the people that's around us. And that's what I want to talk about today. Tribalism. Shout out to R Black off of YouTube for the episode recommendation. And I'm saying this because I don't want to talk about just religious tribalism and not just political tribalism, but I'm talking about human tribalism. Every single one of us is vulnerable to it, including me and including you. I'm CJ Everson, and welcome to the Jewish Skeptic. But before we start pointing fingers at everybody else's tribe, we need to understand what tribalism actually is. Tribalism sounds complicated. It's not, though. It's really not, people. At its basic level, it's us and them, pretty much. Give you an example. These are my people. Those are your people. This is what we believe. That's what they believe. This is how our people behave. That's how people like them behave. And there's nothing automatically wrong with belonging to a group. I mean, we are social animals. We have families, communities, family groups, and cultures, and religions, and political groups, and sports teams. I mean, shoot, people will nearly fight you over whether if you're a Cowboys fan or a 49ers fan. I mean, that is normal human behavior. The problem isn't having a tribe. The problem starts when the loyalty to the tribe becomes more important than figuring out what's actually true. That's when things start to get interesting, because now if my group says something, I might accept it with very little evidence. But if somebody else's group says the exact same thing, now suddenly I need 17 different sources, DNA evidence, 3 witnesses, surveillance footage, and a signed confession. Come on now. You know that's protecting your team. And people do this all the time without realizing they even doing it. And this is where this conversation gets deeper. Because if the people around us can shape what we believe, then how much of our thinking is really individual? Now, I want to be real careful here. I'm not saying tribalism is some separate form of consciousness. I'm not saying there's a little tribe living inside your brain controlling you. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm asking something much simpler. Your mind belongs to you, right? But did every idea inside your mind come from you? I bet it didn't. Think about it. You didn't invent the language you're speaking. Somebody taught it to you. You didn't invent the culture you grew up in. You were born into it, right? You didn't decide what religion your family practiced when you were 5 years old. You walked into a world where adults had already decided what was true. You learned what was normal before you were even old enough to question why it was normal. And that's true whether you grew up Christian, Muslim, Hindu, atheist, conservative, liberal, or anything else. Before we ever start examining the world for ourselves, somebody or someone has already given us a map of the world. They tell us what's good, what's bad, what's sacred, what's dangerous, who can be trusted, who can't be trusted, what questions you're allowed to ask, sometimes even what answers you're supposed to find. So later in life, you can genuinely feel like this is just what I believe. But maybe, just maybe, a better question is, where did I get this belief? Because your mind may be yours, but that doesn't mean every idea inside of it started with you. And that's where tribalism becomes more than a social issue. Now it starts affecting how we decide what's true. Here's why I think tribalism becomes dangerous. When a belief stops being something you believe and it starts becoming part of who you are, there's a difference. Let me show you. If I say, I believe Christianity is true, that's a belief. But if Christianity becomes part of my entire identity, my family, my friendships, my marriage, my community, my hopes, my fears, my understanding of death, my understanding of myself, now asking whether Christianity is true doesn't feel like examining an idea anymore. It can feel like someone is examining me personally. And this doesn't only happen with religion, folks. Politics can do the same thing. Race can do it. Nationality can do it. Social movements can do it. Atheism can do it. Skepticism can do it. Once something becomes attached to identity, disagreement can start feeling real personal. Now somebody isn't just saying, I think you're wrong. Your brain hears, your people are wrong. Your family is wrong. Your whole life might be wrong. You might have wasted years believing something that's not true. And that's a much harder thing to process. So the question quietly changes. It stops being, is this true? And it becomes, what happens to me if this is true? That's a completely different question. And once the mind feels like something important is under attack, we're capable of doing some amazing, and I mean amazing, mental gymnastics to protect it. This is one of the easiest ways to see tribal thinking. Hear me out. Watch how somebody evaluates information coming from their own side. Then watch how they evaluate information from the other side. Somebody they already agree with says something, sounds reasonable. They share it, like it, repost it, no questions asked. Somebody from the opposing group says something. Hold on. Where's the source? Who funded the study? Who wrote the article? What's their background? Can we trust them? And look, Asking those questions is good. I want people asking those questions. My problem is when you only ask them about the other team. Because if your standard of evidence changes depending on who made the claim, then your standard ain't really evidence, it's loyalty. And this is something I've had to watch in myself too, people. Because it's very easy, and I mean it's damn easy for a skeptic to criticize religious reasoning. It's easy for me to look at someone using weak evidence for God and say, that doesn't demonstrate the conclusion. Okay, fair enough. But then I have to turn around and ask myself, do I hold claims that agree with me to the same standard? Because if I don't, I'm doing the same thing, y'all. Just wearing a different jersey. And here's another uncomfortable truth. Being intelligent doesn't protect you from this. Sometimes we assume tribal thinking happens because somebody isn't smart. No, not at all. Some very intelligent people are extremely tribal. But I wanted to call some names out, some YouTubers, but I ain't gonna do it. Being intelligent can actually make you better at defending what you already believe. Think about it. If I'm good at arguing, good at finding information, good at explaining myself, I can use all of those abilities to discover whether if I'm wrong. Or I could use them to build a fortress around a conclusion I refuse to question. Those are two very different things. And I think this is one of the most important questions we can ask ourselves. Am I using reason to discover my conclusion, or am I using reason to defend the conclusion I already want? Because those can look almost identical from the outside. You can read books, you can quote experts, you can memorize arguments, you can debate people for hours and still never seriously consider the possibility that your own side could be wrong. That's why intelligence by itself isn't enough. Education by itself isn't enough. Knowing a lot of information isn't enough. You also have to be willing to let information hurt your feelings. You have to be willing to find out that your side got something wrong. And I know that's difficult for a lot of people. So how do we know when we're doing this? I think there's a simple test for it, actually. Take one belief, just one, that you care about deeply. It don't matter if it could be religion, politics, social issues, whatever it may be. Now, imagine somebody from the group you disagree with making your exact argument. Same logic, same evidence, same sources, same conclusion. Would it still sound convincing? That's test number one. Here's another one. Think about an argument made by somebody on your side that you know is weak. Do you criticize it, or do you let it slide because they're helping your team? Because that's a big one. We love correcting the other side. Correcting our own people, that's harder. And here's probably the biggest test of all. Ask yourself this question. I say this all the time on this channel. What evidence would change my mind? Not what evidence would make me uncomfortable. What evidence would actually make you say I was wrong? If your answer is nothing, then stop telling yourself this is about evidence, because you've already decided that no possible evidence is allowed to change the conclusion. At that point, the belief is protected, and a protected belief is very difficult to investigate, honestly, because you've already told yourself what the answer has to be. Oh, boy. And before my atheist and skeptical viewers start getting comfortable, we're not getting out of this that easy. I talk about religion a lot on this channel, so this part matters to me. If I criticize Christians for accepting something just because another Christian said it, I can't turn around and accept something just because an atheist said it. That's hypocrisy. I don't care what famous atheist it is. I don't care how many books they've written. I don't care whether I agree with 99% of everything else they say. Guys, a bad argument is still a bad argument. And skepticism becomes tribal the moment we stop being skeptical of ourselves. That's when skepticism stops being a method and starts becoming another identity that needs defending. And I don't want that. I don't want people watching this channel because they know I'm going to tell them what atheists are supposed to believe. I don't even know what atheists are supposed to believe. Atheism answers one question, people. One question. Are you convinced that God exists? That's it. Everything after that still has to be examined. So if somebody makes a scientific claim, examine it. A historical claim, examine it. A political claim, examine it. A religious claim, examine it. And if somebody you dislike happens to be right about something, guess what? They're still right. Truth doesn't become false because the wrong person said it, and something doesn't become true because somebody from your team said it. So if tribalism is part of being human, what are we supposed to do? Do we have to abandon every group and become isolated from everybody? No, I don't think so, y'all. I don't think the solution is having no community. I mean, that's unrealistic. And frankly, I don't even think it's healthy. Look, guys, people need people. We need relationships. We need belonging. We need people to laugh with, people to struggle with, people who understand us, you know. There's nothing wrong with that. The goal isn't to have no tribe. The goal is to stop allowing your tribe to determine reality for you. You should be able to love your family and say, my family could be wrong. You should be able to belong to your religion and say, my religion could be wrong. You should be able to vote for somebody and say, the person I voted for could be wrong. You should be able to call yourself a skeptic and say, I could be wrong. That sentence is powerful. I could be wrong. Because the moment I accept that possibility, I give myself permission to investigate. I don't have to protect the answer anymore. I can follow the evidence wherever it goes. And if the evidence supports what I already believe, cool. But if it doesn't, then I have a decision to make. Do I protect the tribe? Or do I protect my commitment to what's true? So let me go back to the question I asked at the beginning. How many of your beliefs did you actually choose? And maybe choose isn't even the right word here. Because all of us inherited something. We inherited language, culture, values, stories, assumptions, ways of looking at the world. None of us started from zero, folks. So maybe being an independent thinker doesn't mean inventing every idea yourself. Maybe it means being willing to examine the ideas you inherited. Even the ones you love, even the ones your family gave you, even the ones your friends agree with, even the ones your favorite political party believes, even the ones people watching this channel believe, and especially the ones I believe. Because skepticism shouldn't only point outward. Eventually, you have to turn it around. And you have to ask yourself the same questions you asking everybody else. How do I know this? Why do I believe it? What would prove me wrong? Am I following evidence? Or am I protecting an identity? Because maybe the hardest tribe to question isn't somebody else's. Maybe it's your own. Remember, no fear, no dogma, just clarity. This is your boy CJ Everson. I'm the Jewish Skeptic. Thanks for watching. See y'all in the next one.
Do you know what I found? The more you know, the less you know.